What's up, High and Logical? Gabe's back again after a little vacay that I had. It feels nice being back home, but at the same time, I still wish I was on vacation. You always had that feeling. I hope that other people have that feeling because I definitely do. But it's really cold outside. I'd rather be sweating than freezing any day. And if people around my area want to fight me about it, they can come find me because I don't care. But what I'm going to talk about today is what it's like living in a small town. When you think of a small town, you think of exactly what it is. You have old infrastructure with old buildings. There's not really a lot of things to do. There's only local businesses. You can't expect anything like a mall, like Verizon Center to get a new phone. You always have to drive for it. Because all we have are just restaurants, local businesses, gas stations, grocery stores, school, just stuff to do outside. And that's something that we kind of always have to keep on top of, is to keep our sons entertained. We go out on walks with our friends. We go over to our friend's house. They come over here. We go make plans with each other to go eat, go down to the bar. Like, there's not really a lot of things to do than what we're given. In a bigger city, you have all that, everything, but you always have that traffic aspect because it might take you 30 minutes just to go 10 miles, So, yeah, keeping yourselves entertained around a small town is very, very hard. And as I said, you have to drive a lot, and I mean to the point to where you're driving 20 to 3 hours, 20 minutes, 3 hours minimal, maybe, just to go to whatever you want to do, just because that living in a rural area like I am, we live in Jackson, Minnesota, so you always have to expect to drive everywhere you go because it's always like in a flat plane. So the drives are super boring. You can always expect us to be driving a straight line. There's not really anything new. And living in a rural town, we're farming community, so you can always expect to see corn everywhere you go. Farming machines, you can never expect to see anything new outside of town. It's the same that you do inside of town. It's always the same thing I feel in rural communities, that there's not really a lot of switch ups. Like, we have community events, but they're always the same. There's never anything different. You can always expect to go to the same thing every year. And that's why I feel people, kind of have to keep themselves entertained by doing dumb stuff. Just because that we've had a lot of stupid stuff that's happened around here, and just because I feel people are bored. And that's also why I feel that harder drugs are kind of the thing in rural communities, because it's, like I said, it's something to do, and that's not really a good excuse to say, but that's probably a good influence, I would say, on why people do it in rural communities, because there is nothing to do. It's just something to keep themselves entertained because, that's their mindset. Obviously not mindset. It's just an example. But yeah, I feel rural communities definitely have a weird way of people being able to grow up in specific cases. Like, let's say you go to a bigger city for a concert or something. I've always had that feeling where I feel very uncomfortable because people seem older than me, even though they're the same age as me. Also because there's also a weird sense of maturity, I guess, in bigger cities, but at the same time, maturity is all a thing about mind state and not really look. But people do look older than you. They look taller than you. And I feel that rural communities might have an impact on kids about when it comes to growing up like that, maybe. So, or maybe it's just because they live where they live. I have no idea. But I know setting is very important when it comes to specific things like evolution and stuff like that too, especially when people are trying to adapt and get used to their surroundings. And so when I step into a bigger city, like I said, I feel very uncomfortable. Like, I feel like I don't fit in. And I don't know if other people have that sense of feeling, but I definitely do. And it just kind of makes me uncomfortable, also to the point because I like talking. I like meeting new people. But when I get scared, it's because, I guess they scare me, if I want to put it that way. Then I wouldn't really have a sense of trying to open out a little bit. And I always just feel very self-centered. And I think that's a thing that rural communities, like small towns, do, is because everyone is self-centered. You cannot expect people to even think about your view from your point of view without them thinking of a different way of how it's stupid, doesn't really make sense to them, so on and so forth, etc., etc. So, yeah, you can always expect people to be very into their own stuff instead of being about people, And I've said that before, be happy with yourself, with what you want to do. Make sure that you're happy and not have to worry about absorbing other people's problems and energies. But at the same time, I do feel like there's a point where you should give a minor fuck just a little bit, just about specific things when it comes to how people are and mentally, and because you never know how people are going to act, and especially in a rural community, because I feel there's always that sense of like minor depression. You kind of have that feeling of like where you're stuck. I feel sometimes I've had that happen. You know, I still live in a small town, but I do expect me to grow out and go to a different place that's not in a small town, because I would like to experience something new like that. And I definitely think that people should do that, because when we all have a sense of closeness with one another, I feel like you can't ever escape it. Like, we grow up with people that we've been in kindergarten to high school. Some people go to college, some people work together. You know, like, you're always seeing people that you know in town because you're so close. And I feel like that's kind of something that people have having a hard time of letting go with living in a small town, because they are comfortable. They know everything. They know where everything is. They know how the people are and stuff like that. But I feel like it doesn't really give you a good sense of growth for yourself to know what it's like to live in a different place that you're not comfortable with. You know, some people live in worse places than we do, and you can't expect that. Then some people are comfortable with it, but some people aren't, you know. And I'm not very comfortable with living in a small town consistently, because, like I said, there's nothing really new that goes on. Everyone knows your business. That's also the thing, too, is that rumors in small towns like to spread like wildfire. It is really bad to the point to where a specific subject might get blown out of proportion, just because it could be, like I said, it's going from their point of view and not your point of view. People don't have a sense of asking you around here, and so that's always a thing about just, I guess, small towns. I feel a way to classify a small town is we are like our own little society, because, like I said, like when I feel like I'm going out to a bigger city or just a different place, I do feel like out of place. I don't feel like I don't fit in. But when it comes to specific opportunities I know people are trying to take when it comes to going to school in a bigger city, or just go live in a bigger city because they know they have more opportunities to do stuff, then you should take those aspects. You should take that opportunity just to feel different. You know, it's okay to feel different. I understand that it's not going to be comfortable for you at first, but that's always something that people have to adapt to. You have to adapt comfortability to your surroundings, to everything else. Otherwise, then you're just going to only know what you have known throughout your entire life. And that is okay. It is not a bad thing to be happy with where you're working, where you live. If you like to live in a small town, that's fine. But like I said, it feels nice on yourself to feel growth, to know that you can go do different things and not have to worry about what other people might think. Because I feel like in bigger cities, people give you that opportunity to not feel so weird about stuff, because people have seen stuff. You know, like it wouldn't be unheard of for people to know that I've done that, to hear about someone doing YouTube like me, or doing music like people want to do, just because that it's always a given factor, because there are things around the bigger cities that have it, like record labels and so on and so forth. So take the opportunities, especially for when it comes to what you want to do, to take that into consideration, because you never know what that might change into for your future, and for what you also have planned for your future, and you never know about the new people that you might meet. You're not going to like everyone, and I understand that. And especially when it comes to small towns, I definitely don't like everyone in my small town. But you grow accustomed to people. You grow friendships over just people who live 10 minutes away, because in a small rural community like me, we have tons of communities that are bunched into one community that feel like we're our own little like state, so to speak. Like, most of the Southwest Minnesota area is pretty connected, so people know this area very well, and people know about specific businesses and so on and so forth to give people good recommendations about stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much just about it. But otherwise, yeah, take it into consideration to do what you want to do what you love. You know, like I said, you're not going to meet new people, but you're not going to like new people, but you never know what that might bring you, especially when it comes to specific opportunities. But otherwise, I think that is it that I have. Please like, comment, subscribe, share. Otherwise, I should have a new video coming up soon. And like I said, do what you love and just try something different for a change.